Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bruce the Moose in Wisconsin. What are we doing today, guys? We are going to go over the bankruptcy hearing audio and try to find some interesting discrepancies, miscommunications, errors, mistakes, confusion, perjury? I don't know. In the latest transcript of the audio from the bankruptcy hearing case, Owens v. Eckerd, State of Arizona v. Owens. All of this is going on. I made a video, part one, going over the notes that somebody took listening to this audio. And now we have the actual audio. And since people saw the notes and since people have listened to the audio, we've discovered a lot of inconsistencies, and I want to go through the ones I think are interesting and point to the material that may present a direct contradiction or a discrepancy or a problem with this testimony. Okay. So we're going to play through the audio, and I've got notes here in Google's version of PowerPoint, which is slides. And I have all of my comparative material pulled up in the browser, ready to go. So we just need to find the right place in each document as we go. So we're going to go along and listen. I'm going to have my commentary. And when we get to a place where there's something to look at, we're going to look at it with more evidence. Okay, guys. I don't think I explained that very well, but let's just get into it. Let me find my mouse. Here it is. Okay, this is great. All right. So we've got the audio on the Schnitzel Ninja channel, and you can find this audio other places. What I like is when there's audio from a court hearing or when there's a court document, I like as many different independent sources getting the documents and putting them on the internet as possible. Because then you know if everybody's getting the same document, it's legit, right? And people can go, they might not know about one person or another, so they can go where they want to go. So thanks to Schnitzel Ninja for posting the audio. Now I'm starting at 206 because there's a bunch of, they're getting settled. There's somebody who's not muted listening to Copilot tell it something. Like, it's crazy. So we're going to start where things settle down and get into it. Let's get into it.
All right. I'm sorry, Ms. Owens. Please, if we can continue. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Would you state your full name for the record, please?
Laura Michelle Owens.
Okay. So I'm going to continue to work with the debtor. I still need to get some documents so that I can ask my questions in a meaningful way. But because of the creditor interest in this, I'm going to open this up and ask, are there any parties in the meeting who wish to examine this debtor? Go ahead and make your appearance.
Is that a doorbell? I like it.
Sir, and tell me who you represent since we're on the record now.
Yes, Marcus Reisinger, appearing on behalf of Clayton Eckerd, a creditor in this matter, and I'd like to ask a few questions.
All right.
And as we know, Marcus was the person who wrote all the appeal work for Eckerd in the Owens v. Eckerd paternity case. And now he is appearing here on behalf of Mr. Eckerd because Ms. Owens received a judgment to pay Mr. Eckerd quite a bit of money. And so that's the context.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead and please be mindful of our time constraints.
We're in a hurry.
Ms. Owens, have you been advised of your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent?
No, I have not. I don't have an attorney in this matter.
So this is interesting. He asks if she has been advised of her Fifth Amendment rights. And instead of just saying no, she says she doesn't have an attorney. I mean, is she presupposing that if she had an attorney, her attorney would have advised her of her Fifth Amendment rights? That seems like speculation. And we'll see this throughout the entire transcript. Ms. Owens, what you want to do in these legal situations is you want to say yes, no, I don't know, which means you don't know and you don't think you ever knew, or I don't recall, which means maybe you knew at one point in time, but you don't now. Like, I don't know, when I was in third grade, what was my favorite food? I don't recall. I mean, I probably had one. I probably knew what it was at one point, right? I don't recall. Anyway, it's kind of crazy. Let's get going.
All right. In your bankruptcy petition, you filled out what's known as Form 107, which is an income statement. Do you recall doing that?
Yes.
And page 2 of that statement asks, did you have any income during this year or the 2 previous calendar years? Why did you answer no?
Because I personally do not have any income and have not for the last 2 years.
Oh boy. So she says she doesn't have any income and has not for the last 2 years.
Did you testify in June of 2024 that you had approximately $200,000 per year of income with your business partner?
With my mother, and that's all gone directly to the LLC. Nothing's been paid to me personally.
Okay, so let's get into this. I think this might be the first slide we want to get into in my slide. Yes. So she says that's all gone directly to the LLC. Nothing's been paid to me personally. Okay. Now, if we go back to the June 10th hearing that he's talking about, because he's talking about the June 10th hearing. So it might be interesting to go back and listen to that. Luckily, I have that pulled up right here. Let's get, do I have that here? I do, June 10th. Okay. We need a timestamp. It's 1 hour, 7 minutes, 55 seconds. So let's go there. 1 hour. What was it? 7 minutes and 55 seconds? Is that what? Bear with me here. Yeah, 1:07:55. That's where we are. Let's give it a listen.
September, it's with the court.
Okay.
It's on the record.
Well, consistent with your deposition testimony and your April 16th affidavit, you would agree with me that you make approximately $200,000 a year and then have approximately $500,000 in like a money market account, right?
I don't have $500,000 in a money market account.
And guys, here's where, on June 10th, it was time constrained, okay? But I have a little problem with this question because we will see that the photocopy of the money market account dollar amount is this complicated long number that's approximately $450,000. Deandra here is rounding up to $500,000 for the money market account. And I think what Laura has done here is she was asked, do you have $500,000? Not, did you show Mr. Eckerd a statement where you had 450,000, whatever the exact number is? So if there's a temporal problem here, like she had the money on Monday and then got rid of it, transferred it to E-Trade on Tuesday, and then you ask on Wednesday, do you have $500,000 in a money market account? You can say no, because you don't have that anymore. Or if it's $450,000, you can say you don't have 500 because 450 is not 500. So I wish Team Woodnick had been a little more precise here on June 10th, but they were under a huge time crunch dealing with a tough witness. So I give them a lot of grace for that.
Okay, but you would agree with me that you make approximately $200,000 a year?
It's with businesses I have with my mom, so it's proportional to us.
So she effectively says, yes, she makes $200,000 with businesses she has from her mom, and it's proportional to us. She does not say the proportions. We don't know if it's 50-50. We don't know if it's 5-95, 95-5, 10-90, 60-30. What is it? We don't know. It'd be 70-30. But anyway, we don't know, and she doesn't say. I feel like Laura is giving answers here on June 10th that give her a lot of wiggle room to try and get out of this direct questioning. However, she's effectively saying here, she and her mom make $200,000 a year. And we just saw, nothing's been paid to me personally. That's all gone directly to the LLC. So does she make $200,000? Like, it's crazy. She should have said on June 10th the same thing she's saying here, but she didn't. So it's inconsistent. This is trouble.
Okay.
With our companies, yeah.
Ms. Owens, I want to give you one more opportunity.
Okay. So with our companies. All right, let's go back to the bankruptcy case hearing. Or do we need to look at something else? No, we need to look at something else. Let's look at the Judge Mata ruling from that June 10th hearing, because that has the same statement. If you're looking for this $200,000, right? Petitioner did not provide an AFI, but testified she and her mother collectively earned $200,000 a year. With their companies, they make that money. And now she's in bankruptcy saying the company gets the money, or her mom gets the money, or the LLC gets the money, but she doesn't get the money. This is red flags all over the place. This is the first red flag for me, guys. Okay. So there's that evidence there. So this is confusing. Let's keep going.
So is it your testimony that you received no income from any of the LLCs that you listed in your petition?
Correct.
And
So presumably these LLCs made $200,000 a year on the June 10th hearing, but she doesn't get paid any of that money. That's crazy. Why would you be a CEO or a co-CEO of an LLC and not get paid? What's happening here?
in March or April of 2024, you stated in an affidavit that you had $450,000 in cash in an account. Where's that money now?
As Mr. Eckerd knows, that was never my money.
Hold on here. Okay, so we're moving on to topic 2, the $450,000. We know we like to talk about the $450,000. In March or April 2024, you stated in an affidavit you had $450,000 in cash in an account. Where's that money now? We can actually go look at that reference. Let's go look at it. This is item 16 in affidavit of Laura Owens from Petitioner's expert disclosure statement. We already listened to her testimony about the, she said, I don't have $500,000 in a money market account from the June 10th hearing. But the affidavit prior to the hearing, the petitioner's expert disclosure statement, let's take a look at that. Okay, we're going to find, let's see. So I think it's on page 2. I think it's right here. Yeah, we don't even have to search, guys. It's right here. 16, to demonstrate my offers, these are real estate offers, because she's working with Mr. Eckerd as he's a realtor. She wants to buy a house or houses, and she wants to prove her offers are serious on these houses. I attach proof of funds. Proof of funds is like your money that you're going to buy these houses with to the offers, which included a current bank statement. What's my cat doing? Anyway, a current bank statement showing I had almost $450,000 in cash in my checking account. I had almost $450,000 in cash in my checking account, as shown below. And then you can see here this number circles 448,970 and whatever that is, 83 cents or something. So it's about $450,000. Where is this money? Whose money was this? What's going on here? She said it was her money. Now, we can give her grace on these temporal things. Like I said, if in May I had $450,000 in this account, and in June or July, the balance in the account was different, that's something you could talk about. And of course, she doesn't talk about it in a temporal way that would make sense, right? So it comes across as inconsistent and incoherent, and it's a red flag because she doesn't have a temporal explanation for where this money went. She said it was hers, and then she said on June 10th, I don't have $500,000 in a money market. And of course, if she still had this, 450, it's not 500. So she can play the details game on that, right? So we're trying to find the major inconsistencies. And to me, the major inconsistency is she said, I had almost all this money in cash in my checking account. Now let's go back to the audio.
That was an investor's money. He was going.
Okay, so now it's an investor's money. It's not her money. This is so inconsistent.
To provide the down payment for the houses I was looking at with him. He spoke to that investor and he knows that.
Okay, the other problem with this, let's go back. Let's go back to 408 or 406.
An account, where's that money now?
As Mr. Eckerd knows, that was never my money. That.
Okay, so he says, where is that money now? The correct answer is, if she doesn't know, she should just say, I don't know where that money is. Because it wasn't mine, or it wasn't my account. Even though she testified under oath, it was her account. Inconsistency. She says, as Mr. Eckerd knows. My big problem here is, like, why is she starting out talking about what somebody else knows? How does she know what somebody else knows? She should only know what she knows. This is very, like, manipulative language or distracting language. Or she knows she's going to get caught in something here and she's trying to get out of it. So she's redirecting by talking about Mr. Eckerd. If she told Mr. Eckerd something, her testimony should be, I told Mr. Eckerd XYZ. That would be good testimony. She says, as Mr. Eckerd knows. You should already know this. It's kind of rude. But the bigger problem is she's claiming to know what somebody else knows. That's a big mistake. You shouldn't be talking about what somebody else knows. You should be talking about what you know or what you told them. Let's keep going.
That was an investor's money. He was going to provide the down payment for the houses I was looking at with him. He spoke to that investor and he knows that.
So she is worried about this idea that they're not going to know that Eckerd spoke to some investor. I think that's irrelevant because she said, over here, let's go find it. Where's the declaration? Petitioner's expert disclosure statement, declaration. To demonstrate my offers were serious, I attached proof of funds. I had almost $450,000 in cash in my checking account. That's your money. You're not just going to hold money for an investor in your own checking account. That's insane. That's not how any of this works. Guys, this one blows my mind because here's the other problem. Let's go back to the audio. Uh, 406.
An account, where's that money now?
Where's the money
As Mr.
now?
Eckerd knows, that was never my money. That was an investor's money. He was going to provide the down payment for the houses I was looking at with him. He spoke to that investor and he knows that.
She didn't answer the question. Where is the money now?
Where's that money now?
So he has to ask again. Guys.
It didn't belong to me. It was an investor's account.
It was an investor's account. She said it was her checking account. In my checking account. It's inconsistent.
It was an investor's account. He was an investor who was going to provide me the down payment. I have no
He was an investor who was going to provide me the down payment.
idea what the guy has done with the money.
I have no idea what the guy has done with the money. So we finally sort of get an answer. She doesn't know. The correct answer to this question is, I don't know. And then if they ask you further questions about an investor, was it really your money? Like, whose account is it? Then you answer those questions. She's talking herself into a corner And it's a contradictory corner compared to her prior testimony. Guys, oh boy, let's keep going. Okay, that's the big one for me.
When you represented that the money in that account belonged to you, were you not telling the truth?
I did not represent that that money belonged to me.
I did not represent that that money belonged to me. I did not represent that that money belonged to me. I had almost $450,000 in cash in my checking account. Yes, you did. This is about as blatant as I saw the doctor last Friday and then later saying, no, I canceled the appointment that was supposed to happen on Friday, previous to Friday. Like, those are two different things. You cannot say two different things about the same thing. Guys, this blows my mind.
What is Liz Max Investments LLC?
It's my mom's LLC.
Do you currently have an interest in that LLC?
I do not.
Okay, so this is interesting. He says, do you have an interest in that LLC? And she says, no. So this is a definitive answer, implying she understands the question. Do you currently have an interest in that LLC? Keep that in mind for later, guys. That's going to become important because we're getting into the Airbnb and Liz Max LLC. Let's keep listening.
Have you had an interest in that LLC in the past?
I started that LLC with my mother. We purchased one home together through Liz Max LLC, and that money was only provided by my mother. The down payment was provided by her own personal funds.
Okay, I want to hear that again.
Liz Max LLC, and that money was only provided by my mother.
Was only provided by my mother.
By her own.
The down payment was provided by her own personal funds. So her mother bought a house with Liz Max LLC. Her mother bought a house, guys. Let's go to the June 10th hearing. Timestamp 1928, because this is important. We're going back in time. 1928, not the year, but the timestamp. There's 20, 27 would be good. Come on, kids. Okay, 1920, good enough.
Contracts happened before you tested positive for pregnancy, if I'm understanding the timeline correctly. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever learn why Clayton did not submit those offers or why he said he didn't?
He said I didn't because he said I had no intention of purchasing real estate.
So Clayton got the heebie-jeebies from his client and didn't submit the offers and told her to submit the offers with a different realtor, which would have been easy for the other realtor because Clayton had already finished a bunch of the paperwork. So another realtor would have had an easy time making their 3% or 4% or 5% or whatever it is, their commission. Okay. So she says, Clayton didn't think I was serious about buying a house.
Did you have an intention of purchasing real estate?
Yes.
Did you have an intention of purchasing real estate? She says, yes.
Did you wind up purchasing real estate?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you wind up purchasing real estate? She says, yes. Now in this bankruptcy hearing, she says, well, we did it together through Liz Max LLC, but it was her mother's money. Her mother's personal funds. She's using personal funds to buy a house for an LLC. And it's her mother's money, not hers. Laura Owens never bought a house, guys. She didn't use this $450,000. It didn't disappear into the down payment of this house. The mom bought the Airbnb with whatever financing deal she cooked up. Laura said on June 10th that she bought a house. Now she's saying she never bought a house. Her mom bought the house. And she's trying to hide behind this idea that they had an LLC together to say that meant she was buying the house. If I have an employer and they buy property, I'm not buying the property. I'm an employee. I'm going to be a vice president of the company or something. I might be the CEO, but I'm not buying the property. The company bought the property. But she said she bought property on June 10th. Let's keep going.
At one point in time, you did have an interest in that LLC?
I was listed on the LLC. I was never paid out of that LLC.
So he asks a pointed question. At one point in time, you did have an interest in that LLC. Okay. What did she say before? Do you currently have an interest in that LLC? And she says, no. So if you say, did you have interest in the past? The answer is yes or no.
But you did have an interest, correct?
I don't even understand legally what it would mean to have an interest since I...
So she doesn't even understand what it would mean legally to have an interest, although she already said that in the past she did. So she said yes to a question that she's now saying she doesn't even understand. Guys, it's not complicated. If you want to understand what it means to have an interest in an LLC, you can just Google it. Let's Google it. Oh, look, I already did. It's in this tab. What is an interest in an LLC and where is it documented? An LLC interest is an ownership stake representing financial and governance rights, typically defined by capital contributions or set percentages, documented primarily in the operating agreement, okay, or in other company books. They have all these LLCs. Each one should have an operating agreement or company books where her ownership stake, her LLC interest is clearly documented in terms of capital contributions or set percentages. 50-50, 80-20, $100,000 a year. Where are her operating agreements for these LLCs? How can she be the CEO or co-CEO of LLCs without even knowing that an LLC interest would be defined in the operating agreement and how it would be documented in terms of what it means? I had a 50% interest in LizMax LLC. That's the correct answer. Potentially. That's the correct form of the answer. I just can't. I can't even. This bankruptcy testimony, she's coming across like a child who's being questioned by lawyers, and she's just saying, well, my mom did all that. It was all my mom. Like she's a child. This is negligence, financial negligence.
I never made money from it and never provided money into the account. I mean, anyone can start an LLC in the state. That doesn't...
Yeah, anybody can start an LLC in the state, and you should probably understand how an LLC works before you do that.
mean they're making money from it.
She keeps focusing on whether or not she's making money from the LLC. That is orthogonal and irrelevant to the question that the lawyer is asking, which is, did you have an interest in the LLC? And what was your interest? Do you still have an interest? And what is it now? He's trying to build a landscape picture of her financial situation. And she keeps redirecting the questions with her answers to things that were not asked of her.
All I'm asking is if you had an interest in the LLC.
I truly, as a non-lawyer, do not understand what it would mean.
You don't need to be a lawyer to know what an interest in an LLC is. You need to be the CEO of the LLC, which you claimed to have been. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be an accountant. You don't have to be a moose. Oh boy.
Mean to have an interest in the LLC if I'm not making any money from it or providing money. There's nothing financially to do with anything.
That's irrelevant. If you have 50% interest in an LLC that in 2025 makes $0, sure, it's kind of irrelevant because 50% of $0 is zero. But if in a previous year it had made money, then you would still have your 50% interest. And over time, we can see how that interest manifests in terms of what did the LLC do in terms of revenue, profits, losses, all that jazz over time.
Okay. Do you recall when you transferred your interest in LizMax?
Again, like I said, I think it was March of 24. There was an issue with the paperwork that it didn't get recorded until 24 that my name was taken, or until July, I believe, of 24 that my name was taken off of it. But
okay, so this one we have the date of when she was removed from the LizMax LLC. Now, Quartet Farms we're going to get into next, and that one's a little murkier. If we can figure out when she was removed from Quartet Farms, I think that would also be interesting. Okay, let's keep listening.
the paper was filed with the county, like in March of 24, and they would be able to state that I submitted it incorrectly.
That's not how any of this works. This is a very simple question. If you filed paperwork on one date and the county signed it on another date, that's the answer. I filed the paperwork on date X. The county signed off on it on date Y. Date Y is later than date X because there were some clerical issues. You don't even have to say that. You could say it if somebody asks you why there's a gap. But I wouldn't even go there. I don't know why she's over-explaining. This is very defensive posture with the over-explaining.
All right. You also listed an interest in your petition in a company called Keybacker Incorporated. What is that?
Keybacker was an idea for a company that I had that never got off the ground.
So she had an idea for a company, but it never got off the ground. But of course, she lists herself as CEO or co-CEO or whatever of these things on LinkedIn as if it's a big accomplishment. I mean, I have an idea for, I don't know, a goth country western ska band. Should I put that on my LinkedIn right now? I may never get it off the ground, but I'm the CEO or the band leader for the goth country western ska band. We're going to be bigger than Taylor Swift. Give me a break.
Do you have a current interest in that company?
No, I mean, it doesn't operate. I don't believe it's current or has been.
You either have an active LLC or you don't. And if it's active, then you have an interest in it if you're the CEO, probably, if it's your thing. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
You also listed one called Stylet LLC. I may not be pronouncing that correctly.
That's another one that never got off the ground.
Do you have
Another one that never got off the ground. That's too bad. I think Stylet was the one with the horseshoes on the shirt, right? In this region of space. I would put maybe antlers. I don't know. Anyway, I'm surprised that didn't do better.
current interest in Stylet?
Again, I don't think that's current either.
She doesn't think it's current. What does that mean? Does that mean the LLC is active or dissolved? Or what is the status of her paperwork? That is what I would be talking about. She says, I don't think that's current. Does that mean you don't know? For a CEO, I think you should know the status of your LLCs, ma'am.
Okay. The last one you listed is called Quartet Farms LLC. What is that?
That's a business that my mom started herself in December of 2014 for horses.
Okay, so we're up to Quartet Farms. She says, that's a business my mom started herself in December of 2014. Oh, boy. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more. This gets into it.
Do you currently have an interest in Quartet Farms?
I do not.
Does Quartet Farms...
So she doesn't even know what that means. But the answer is no.
Have any valuable assets?
Quartet Farms has if you want to consider it valuable, a 20-year-old show horse and 7 horses who are in their late 20s. It's an LLC of horses that were never paid for by me ever in my life.
Okay, this is crazy. So I guess this Quartet Farms has 8 horses. And that's the answer. You're done. Quartet Farms has 8 horses. That's all she had to say. Now she starts talking about how the horses were never paid by her ever in her life. This is real inflammatory, like, ever in my life. Like, I didn't pay for any horses. These horses were never paid for by me ever in my life. This language she uses, it's firing red flags. It's red flags left and right, guys.
And nothing would be able to be tracked to me because nothing was paid for by me.
Nothing would be able to be tracked to me because nothing was paid for by me. Okay. That's my next slide. Let's get into the first one. Okay, where are we? Are we at 929? No, we're not. Okay, we're back here. Maybe I've got these out of order. Nothing would be able to be tracked by me. It's an LLC of horses that were never paid for by me ever in my life. Nothing would be able to be tracked to me because nothing was paid for by me, etc. Okay, we'll get into that. We can see there's websites. Let's find them. Reigate.live. There's plenty of these horse competitions where Miss Owens is listed as the owner of her horse. She's listed as the owner of her horse, but what she's harping on is not that she owned the horse. She's harping on this idea that she never paid for the horse. Was it a gift? Was it income in kind? She's listed as the owner. Is that an error in all these horse show records? Another inconsistency, guys. This language, you don't have to be Jack Fox to know this language is super sus, okay? And go listen to his video because he goes through this audio and finds all kinds of interesting things to pick apart. But like this one, this is obvious. You don't say nothing would be able to be tracked to me because nothing was paid for by me. He didn't ask if you paid for the horses. He said, does the LLC have assets or meaningful assets, effectively? You say yes, potentially, or maybe. There's 8 horses. That's your answer. Keep listening.
I have no assets. I know.
He didn't ask if you have any assets. He asked if the LLC has assets.
What you guys are getting at, I have literally 0 assets.
I have literally 0 assets. That's not true. If she's sitting there giving testimony and she's wearing clothes, she has clothing, like presumably those are her assets. She has assets. She might have 0 income, but she doesn't have 0 assets. She put a Hyundai car on her bankruptcy filing. That's an asset. She doesn't know what she's doing here, guys. I have literally 0 assets. That's literally incorrect. Are you walking into this conference naked, homeless, with nothing, carrying nothing? I don't think so. This is terrible.
I'm just asking some questions so I can understand your mistake.
Exactly. She has all these LLCs listed all over her LinkedIn profile. They're listed in her bankruptcy filing. She has things listed in her bankruptcy filing. He's asking her questions about these things. I don't... Nothing would be able to be tracked to me. That sounds like something somebody who's trying to hide something would say.
I don't have one. As you know, this case has decimated my ability to make any income.
She said, as you know, this case has decimated my ability to make any income. So now we're not back to assets, we're back to income. Again, which he didn't ask about, by the way. So now she's just, soapboxing. As you know, this case has decimated my ability to make any income. No, it hasn't. You can have a judgment levied against you that you have to pay. You can go get a job and make money. Having an active court case or an active bankruptcy related to a previous court case that went through the appeals, it's effectively done, actually. Now we're in this bankruptcy case, so it's kind of on hold. She does not have an active case. And even if she did, it's not like she's sitting in jail waiting for trial. She can go out and get a job anytime she likes. She can make income any number of ways and has failed.
I have none, and I truly believe you guys are trying to embarrass me by trying to make that point.
He asked if the Quartet Farms has meaningful assets. She starts talking about how she doesn't have any assets, which is false because she has whatever belongings and car and clothes and all that jazz that she has. That she has no income, which is her assertion. She's the one making that point. If anybody is embarrassing her, it's her own bankruptcy filing. It's not this meeting. This meeting is post the filing. The filing already shows there's no income from any of these businesses. The point was already made. There's no... This is wild. This is wild, guys. Let's get into her assertion that she doesn't have any assets and doesn't make any money.
Again, I'm not trying to embarrass you. All I'm doing is asking questions to understand your bankruptcy estate.
Fair.
Do you currently own any horses?
No, I don't.
Have you listed or sold any horses in the past 2 years?
No, I have not.
Have you competed with any horses in the past 2 years?
Yes, I have.
Have you sold any equipment or supplies for horses or for equine sports in the last 2 years?
That are owned by my family's LLC. Yes, I've never paid for anything.
I've never paid for anything. So she sold equipment or supplies for horses that were owned by the LLC. So she didn't buy something and then sell it. The LLC bought it, apparently, and then she sold it. She sold it for the LLC, or she sold it for herself. This is murky, guys. Murky stuff.
Okay, so you listed and sold the property for the LLC?
There was a 15-year-old saddle. I don't know if that's what you're trying to get at, but
It was a 15-year-old saddle. So you listed and sold the property from the LLC or for the LLC. The answer is yes. Because you said yes up here. Yes, I have. Yes.
family's LLC. Yes, I've never paid for anything.
The answer is yes. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Well, I don't know what I'm trying to get at because I don't know what you've sold. That's why I'm asking you the question. Have you sold?
That's what I sold. That's all I've sold.
boy.
of any value.
We're finally on the same page. There's a saddle.
In the summer of 2024, you were removed as a member of Quartet Farms LLC.
Ooh.
Do you recall why?
Summer of 2024. That's when the Eckerd hearing was going on. Maybe they were. Let's just get her out of here before she or after she has this huge judgment in court. Red flags.
It was an issue. I think you're. Are you talking about with the United States Equestrian Federation?
No.
I'm talking about Quartet Farms LLC.
With the United States Equestrian Federation?
Articles of
What does the United States Equestrian Federation have to do with anything?
organization were amended and you were removed as a member.
Oh, well, we didn't know I was ever listed as a member, or I didn't know my...
Oh boy, we didn't know I was ever listed as a member, or I didn't know. Guys, she's saying she didn't know she was co-CEO of Quartet Farms. Let's listen to the next part because I think that's important.
My mom had, at some point, I believe, put me on there.
The mom put her on there.
Since I was providing expertise in terms of horses, but again, it wasn't like I've been getting paid.
It doesn't matter whether you're getting paid or not.
I've never been paid a cent out of it.
Can you believe this, guys? We didn't know I was ever listed as a member. My mom had at some point, I believe, put me on there. But again, it wasn't like I've been getting paid. I've never been paid a cent out of it. So how does she get paid? She claims she didn't know she was listed as a member. Oh, yeah. Let's look at Signal Hire, which scrapes LinkedIn data. Co-owner CEO at Quartet Farms, January 2006 to current. It seems like her LinkedIn page, her Signal Hire data, indicates she did know that she was CEO at Quartet Farms, co-owner. We didn't know I was ever listed as a member. Co-owner, CEO at Quartet Farms, January 2006 to current. Direct refutation of this claim under oath. Oh boy. Oh. You don't like LinkedIn data? We like court data better. Here's the problem, guys. If you tell Dave Neal a lie, okay, you told Dave Neal a lie, that's fine. If you tell Dave Neal one thing and tell the court another thing, it's not a good look. If you tell the court one thing and then tell the court another thing, that's where we get into crime. If you're doing it for nefarious purposes. Now, obviously, people can make mistakes. We're not going to fault people for making mistakes. But these contradictions are so blatant and so obvious. This is why Ms. Owens is currently indicted on 14 felony counts by a grand jury in the state of Arizona because of these types of contradictions in her testimony, attempting to mislead her questioners, in my opinion. Okay, we want to look at Owens' declaration redacted. Where the heck did I put that? We got to find it, guys. Here it is. Okay. Line 17. Forget LinkedIn. You can put whatever you want on there. This is to the court. I am the CEO of Quartet Farms, a company that buys and sells show horses. This was in a declaration she made during the Owens v. Marigini case. Directly refutes her current testimony in the bankruptcy case. Let's go back to no income. We're supposed to be at 329. Are we at 3? Where the heck are we, guys? We're way in here. We're not anywhere near 329. Oh, 1027. We're not even there yet, guys. Let's get there.
So,
We don't have much time. We gotta go.
Last question. Your testimony is that you have not had any income in the past 2 years?
No, I have not.
How does she
You understand
live?
that you're under oath.
Tell me where the money is then.
She says, tell me where the money is. Well, if you don't make any income in 2 years, how do you live your life? If you don't have your checking account with the $450,000 in it that you're using to live your life, like, how do you buy a burrito? It's not tell me where the money is. He's asking the questions. You don't get to ask him the questions. She's getting really argumentative now. I wonder what she has to hide.
I haven't made any money.
I haven't made any money. She hasn't made any money.
The only reason I'm asking is because you did testify numerous occasions in 2024 that you had income at that time. Is that correct?
And we saw that before, right? I make $200,000 a year with my mom proportionally, whatever that proportion is, from our businesses.
That I had businesses with my mom.
That I had, exactly, that you had income.
And that was less than 2 years ago, correct?
That I had businesses with my mom. My expenses have been paid for living by my parents.
Okay, so we have an answer. How do you live? Her parents pay for everything. Again, she's going back to this childlike argument, and it may be true. Maybe all of the bookkeeping of all these LLCs is just done by the mom, and if they make money, they make money. And with the mom and the dad getting a pension, they just take care of their kids' expenses. The kid doesn't have their own checking account, doesn't have their own income, doesn't have a clear income stream from any of these LLCs that she can document. Yes, I was paid. Here's my W-2. This is financial illiteracy.
That's what I've gotten in exchange.
That's what she's gotten in exchange. What is income in kind? Income in kind refers to receiving goods, services, or benefits instead of cash. Her parents pay for everything. Utilities, the internet, food, clothes. Like free housing, meals, clothing, or government benefits. Example, free housing or room and board in exchange for work. This is income in kind. If she was the CEO of LLCs, running businesses, she should know what income in kind is. She just spent, whatever it is, 10 minutes saying she has had no income for the last 2 years. And now she's testifying she receives income in kind. This is the correct answer that she should have started with and failed to do because of her financial illiteracy. This is sad. She has no money. Her parents pay for everything. What does that contradict with in her prior testimony? Petitioner sent a threatening letter to respondent indicating her intention to sue him for $1.4 million in collateral allegations unless he agreed to dismiss the action she initiated. Let's go to the Judge Mata ruling. There it is. Petitioner sent a threatening letter to respondent. So Ms. Owens sent a threatening letter to respondent Clayton Eckert, indicating her intention to sue him for $1.4 million in collateral allegations. I missed out on buying these houses with you, even though I did go on and buy a house, which now she says her mom bought the house. And she missed out on $1.4 million in, I don't know, equity or revenue or something. I think she's conflating the cost of 2 properties with actual revenue that you would receive from those properties and just put this $1.4 million as the cost of those properties. This is complete financial illiteracy. But she's saying she missed out on making this money. But then she says she bought the house. But then she says her mom bought the house. But then she says she doesn't get any money. But then she says she gets money in kind. Income in kind. She lost out on $1.4 million. We saw income in kind. What is an interest in an LLC? We saw that. We looked at that. We want to look at one more item. Item 12D in the motion for contempt. And then I got to go. In addition, the petitioner has guaranteed the respondent that he is the father and even offered to pay him $100,000 if he was not with proof of funds given to him. Let's find this motion for contempt, guys. We've got to find it. Here it is. What do we search on this one? Okay, it was $100,000. Here it is. This is in a court document. In addition, petitioner has guaranteed the respondent that he is the father and even offered to pay him $100,000 if he was not with proof of funds given to him. She doesn't have any assets. She doesn't have any income, but she has $100,000 to make a bet on paternity in a court case. So I guess she never this was an investor's $100,000? Was she betting with someone else's money? Or is this a bunch of nonsense? Guys, I think we did it. We got through the things I wanted to get through. Let's finish this bad boy out, see if I have anything else to say about it.
All right, Mr. Haley, I think that's about as far as we need to go today.
That's it, guys. That's as far as we need to go today. Perfect. We wrapped it up. Let's recap real quick, and I'm going to get out of here because I got to go make a cocktail before I play Blueprints. My friend Indy. Check it out on my channel. Okay. Oh my gosh. Did I draw a good enough yarn map between all these items in my browser, guys? What do you think? Did I miss something? I missed one thing. I'll get to it in a minute. We talked about the $200,000 a year income claims, inconsistencies, $450,000 money market account, inconsistencies, Airbnb and Lizmax, inconsistencies, not knowing she was listed on Quartet Farms, she knew. Nothing would be able to be tracked to me. I have literally zero assets. This is not the wording of someone who is in control of their financial situation. No income, parents paying the expenses. It's income in kind. This is so crazy, guys. Like, normally we read through a court document and it's like, okay, does this make sense? Is this argument good? Is this argument bad? This is wild. This is putting statements on the record that can be directly contradicted with other statements, or at least they're confusing. If they make sense, they're at least confusing. Why is this person trying to confuse the court system? That's my question. Put your answers in the comments section. I want to, I didn't put it in any of the links here because I went and found all the original links, but there's definitely, there's a post on Reddit, the Justice for Clayton Reddit. Go check it out. It's called Never Stop Digging, Girl Boss. Yeah. This lady's in charge of 4 or whatever it is, LLCs. Big girl boss. Anyway, this user has gone through and brought a bunch of the transcript in and then found many of the things we just talked about. I am the CEO of Quartet Farms, line 17. A bunch of horse records listing Laura Owens as the owner of the horse. She says she doesn't own any horses. Well, she did. Did she jettison her assets before filing bankruptcy? That's a big no-no. Again, what is this? Is this like a LinkedIn or something? This is the podcast. Co-owner, Quartet Farms. Mm-hmm. She didn't know. Quartet Farms. Okay, tack room cleanout sale. Oh, she sold one saddle. She didn't sell all this stuff. She only sold one item out of this whole post. And there's more down in the comments, guys. You can go read the comments for yourself. There's good stuff in here to construct our yarn map of all the evidence. Okay, because there's a lot of it. There's even more. I don't know. You can go check it out. It's just, was there anything here? These things we've seen, right? Even offered to pay him $100,000 if he was not the father, with proof of funds given to him. Where's the $100,000? I don't think there ever was any $100,000. It's just more horse showing documents. I mean, it goes on and on. We've looked through it. I tried to cover everything I could find, guys. And that's where we are. We've listened to the audio, thanks to Schnitzel Ninja. Thanks to everybody else who got audio, and you can go listen to it. Thanks to everybody who also did analysis on all this stuff. Big Tiff Dog, Patrick, Lauren. Echoes is going to talk about this. All the streamers, go check them out. Everybody's got a different perspective. This financial hygiene is not good, guys. It's not good. Go check out my part 1 where I went over the notes. I talk about that and investing a little bit more. But this audio just made me want to make my own yard map and go over the audio with a fine-tooth comb, as they say. Check out Jack Fox, Never a Truer Word. He goes through it line by line as well. It's all good stuff. That's it, guys. If you've stuck around this long, I'm Bruce from Wisconsin, Bruce the Moose, hanging out. About to play Blueprints, so that'll be fun. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one, guys.